chili rub flank steak with Tomatillo-Pineapple Salsa. This is the grilling equivalent of a one-pot meal and a perfect recipe for that summer family gathering. I'm gonna start with the pineapple because that's gonna take the longest to grill. Start out putting them far away from you and then work your way in. Now I've got my tomatillos and all I did was take the husks off. Jalapenos, I sliced them in half and then I just scooped out the seeds. That's optional if you want to leave the seeds in. Garlic has been halved across its equator. This keeps it together so that the little garlics don't fall off and then fall through the grill. Bad. And then I have an onion that I peeled and then halved from root to stem. And this just helps keep it together on the grill. And then everything just gets thrown into the bowl with the tomatillos. And I'm going to coat it with a little bit of olive oil and some salt and pepper. And now when I set up the grill, I left one area bare. There's no charcoal right in the front of this grill. That's because I want to cook the garlic over indirect heat. I'm just going to put them right there. If I put the garlic over direct heat, it would burn. So just like that. Everything else just goes in the center of the grill, right over the coals. Once it's charred on one side, I'm just going to flip it over. Except for the garlic and the onion, I'm just going to leave those where they are. Those don't need to be flipped. Ouch! Don't fall through. Don't let your jalapenos fall through. You'd miss one. Be sad. And probably about 1 more minute. You want to grill the vegetables until they're charred on both sides and tender. And this is cool enough to chop. You can just put everything back in the same bowl you used to mix everything in. There's a little olive oil on the bottom. That's not going to hurt anything. You want to chop the jalapenos more finely than all your other ingredients, and that's because you want them evenly dispersed in the salsa. If you left them in big chunks, some people would get jalapeno, some people wouldn't. And then the garlic, I'm going to handle a little differently. I'm going to press it out of the skin, and I'm going to mash it to a paste. You kind of want to use a chop, chop, mash, mash action. It's a little chunky, a little pasty, and now I'm going to add half of it to the bowl with the salsa, and the rest I'm going to save for the steak. And then just finish with the chopped cilantro and some lime juice. This is very good for your hand strength. It is not so good for all those little cuts on your fingers. Okay. And then the salsa can just hang out while you grill the steak. I marinated my steak last night with a little orange juice, some oregano, and some chili powder. So that's been sitting, absorbing the flavors, and it's ready to go on the grill. Right over the coals. Oh, always take your meat out of the fridge at least an hour before you want to grill it. That way it'll come to room temperature and grill more evenly. The steak's ready to carve, but before I do that, remember that garlic mash that we made? I'm going to smear it all over the meat, and that way each slice is going to have this intense burst of caramelized garlic. Now you always want to cut your meat against the grain, and what that means is that you look for these striations and you cut perpendicular to them. You don't have to use all the salsa, by the way. It keeps really well in the fridge and you can just use it tomorrow. Add it to eggs or maybe make it into quesadillas. It's kind of like you've got this one pot grilled meal and then you can use it for several meals. Okay, now that's all ready for my guests. But this is for the cook.